NCAA wrestling truly saving the best for last. The most anticipated duel of the year, I believe, is Iowa versus Oklahoma State. You've got David Taylor, Oklahoma State. They've been excellent, undefeated all year long. They won Cliff Keen, Las Vegas. They've won every place they've gone all year long. But they're taking on the number 2 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes, Oklahoma State being ranked number 3. And this duel on paper is so tight. I'm going to get into the particulars for each match, the different scenarios in which each team can win, and what I think is going to be an electric conclusion to the NCAA wrestling duel season. It's going down Sunday night in Carver Hawkeye Arena, the most historic venue in all of wrestling. And this is going to be a unique challenge for Oklahoma State, who has had a lot of amazing home duels, but this is going to be the most raucous environment they've wrestled in as the visiting team. So let's get into it. On paper, you look at the rankings, you look at the various predictions, it's hard to come up with a conclusion other than it's a 5-5 split with a slight edge to Oklahoma State in the bonus point department. So if you're the Iowa Hawkeyes, all right, what are your paths to getting the win? Well, you either have to pull an upset or you have to have that bonus advantage. You need to have that 6-4 win column advantage, or you need to get some bonus points in some unexpected places. Now, and for Oklahoma State, their path is pretty clear. They just need to hold serve where they should, and they need guys like Wyatt Hendrickson to deliver the big-time bonus point wins at heavyweight that he has all year long. All right? So let's get into the match-by-match breakdown, starting at 125 pounds. Joey Cruz versus Troy Spratley. Now, Spratley has dominated Cruz in the past, but this is a different Joey Cruz. This is a guy who went from 3-6 last year to now he's a top 12, 13, 14 guy in the country. And while Troy Spratley's having a really good year, I think this one falls in the decision category for Troy Spratley. It's one where bonus is possible for Oklahoma State. And, you know, if you're an Iowa fan, maybe this is one of the upsets you're pointing to is like, hey, if we're going to pull an upset, maybe it's at 125. I'm not sure. I'm not as sure of that. I think Spratley's been so solid this year. I don't think it's a 3-4 takedown type of match. I think it's 1-2 takedowns. Probably both for Troy Spratley. The mat could be a factor for Troy. I could see him riding Joey Cruz, but not necessarily. Cruz has proven to be, he can be pretty solid underneath there. And he's a hard guy to score on, good athlete. He's been a nice surprise for the Iowa Hawkeyes, but I don't think he's going to get it done here against Troy Spratley. So I have Oklahoma State winning this one. And then you go to 133 where the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to be favored. Drake Ayala taking on Reese Whitcraft. They've wrestled in the past. It was a dominant win for Drake, but Reese has been really good this year, and I don't think this is a major decision territory match. Although if you're the Iowa Hawkeyes and you're saying, hey, we need to get some bonus points, this may be your first stop. This may be the match you point to. Like Drake, you're our NCAA finalist. You're one of the top ranked guys in the country. Go out, get a bunch of takedowns, and bonus Reese Whitcraft. And Whitcraft has that home run ability, right? He has the ability to go feet to back. He has that pinner's mentality from neutral. But against Drake Ayala, I could see that working against him. If he tries some of those high-flying type of maneuvers, I could see Drake putting him on his back and countering really well, and then it sort of unraveling. So Reese is going to have to be, knowing it's a dual meet scenario, maybe have to be a little more cautious. Then you go to 141. This is another bonus point opportunity, I believe, for Oklahoma State. Taking Jamison, taking on Colin Schriever. Schriever's proven tough to bonus at points in his career. He did not give up bonus against a very good Vance Vombar. But I think Tegan Jamison could potentially push for that major decision. Although things in tight dual meets tend to tighten up a little bit. And I think that's what we're going to see here. Tegan can tend to leave that first period without a lot of attempts. I think if you want to major someone like Colin, you're going to have to get those early takedowns. And I'm not sure Jamison's going to go after him. So I have a decision here for Oklahoma State. And I have a decision. Back and forth we go. 149, Kyle Parko against Carter Young. I think this is a clear decision for Iowa, right? And you're seeing in these first 4 matches, there's a pretty clear winner, right? And I think Parko is that. Now, some of you may point to the Jaden Abbas tech fall for Parko as evidence that he could get bonus points here against Carter Young, and I just don't see it. I haven't seen that in Parko the last couple weeks against Carter Young level competition. Carter's really good. I wouldn't be surprised if Carter got a takedown in this match, but I would be surprised if Carter Young won this match. I think it's Parko. He's going to get it done. A takedown and maybe riding time point will be the difference here, and Kyle Parko gets the win at 149. Then we go to 157. A lot of intrigue here. Ja'Cory Teamer versus Caleb Fish. We saw Ja'Cory Against Askey of Minnesota, he got the job done. He was able to win, but it wasn't exactly the most offensive, the most electrifying version of Ja'Cory Teamer. But I don't think Fish matches up quite strongly against Ja'Cory, because Caleb's got a lot of good upper body stuff, but Ja'Cory's really competent there in the high-flying types of positions. I think it's probably a 1 to 2 takedown match for Ja'Cory. I don't see the mat being a major factor. And the only reason this thing could get out of hand is if Caleb Fish makes takes a risk that's not there, and Ja'Cory ends up countering that for takedown and near fall points. That's the only way I could see this unraveling for Oklahoma State. Then you go to 165, another, I think, clear favorite based on how their seasons have gone. Going into last year, maybe you wouldn't say so, but Michael Caliendo is a favorite against Cam Amin. And Cam Amin's going to want to win a one takedown match, and Caliendo does not seem to indulge those type of bouts. He wants to attack and attack and attack. And so he's going to have to attack and attack and attack to beat Cam Amin, because I think your first crack, your first shot, it's not likely to work against Cam Amin. You're going to need repeated attacks to beat him. So while it may be a lot of offense displayed, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lower scoring bout that Michael Caliendo wins. For Cam Amin, if he can come out and get an early takedown, that can drastically shift how this match goes. You have Caliendo coming after him, could play right into his re-attack game. But until we see that, you got to say Caliendo's the favorite. Now it gets really juicy. 174. Is it Nelson Brands? Is it Patrick Kennedy? I'm not sure who they're going to use, and I'm not sure who the best option would be in this situation, taking on someone as good as Dean Hamady. Dean's got a lot of bonus points this year. That would be a disaster for Iowa if they give up bonus. Now, Patrick Kennedy has wrestled Dean twice and didn't give up a bonus point. So does that, coupled with the fact that Patrick Kennedy's probably been the best guy this year, do you get that usage from Kennedy? Or do you use Nelson Brands and say, hey, Nelson, here's your chance to be the starter. Go out and beat third-ranked Dean Hamady and cement this spot as yours. That's the question. That's the decision. I think it's going to be Kennedy, just because he's been the guy they've used all year long. But if we see Nelson Brands giving him one last shot to maybe end up the starter for Iowa at 174, that can't surprise you either. But my official prediction is Dean Hamady by decision over Patrick Kennedy. I think Kennedy could get to Dean's legs, and I think that's where the problems start for Kennedy, because Dean is one of the toughest guys in wrestling to finish on. His counter-scoring ability is close to second to none at 174 pounds. He can really ride. I see him getting 2 takedowns, riding time, probably not a bonus point. Maybe Kennedy gets a late takedown. He's going to fight that entire time, but at the end, it's Dean Hamady getting the win. Now you go to 184, and if you listen to FRL earlier this week, I talked about this weight and what Iowa is likely to do, and now they created a little bit of a stir when the probables came out for Iowa. No Angelo Ferrari listed. And then I was reminded as soon as I noticed that, oh wait, they didn't list him for Iowa State either. So is this gamesmanship, or is this just, neglectfulness? Who knows? But I think it is going to be Angelo Ferrari, not Gabe Arnold. Coach Brands has basically said it would be. If you go back to the Penn State duel, he said, Gabe's going to be the guy. Angelo Ferrari, we're going to use his 5 dates, and we're not going to use him against cupcakes. They used him against Carter Starachi, and this is the match. Dustin Plott is certainly not a cupcake, an NCAA finalist. And I think the Iowa Hawkeyes absolutely have to use Angelo here, because we've seen Gabe Arnold versus Dustin Plott, and it was not close. They need an upset, and I think Angelo Ferrari over Dustin Plott is their most likely upset of all the 10 matches that'll be wrestled here. And those 5 were Oklahoma State are favored. I think Angelo over Plott is their best opportunity. He's an amazing athlete. He's a very good competitor. He's a guy where the moment doesn't seem to get to him. I think he can get to legs. I think Dustin Plott is going to have a harder time finishing on him than he would against Gabe Arnold, who is also very hard to finish on and is excellent. But I think they go Angelo here, and I'm calling the upset. I think Angelo in Carver Hawkeye Arena, a legend is born. He gets the job done. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if that's even who Tom Brands uses. I think he will use Angelo Ferrari, provided he's healthy and ready to go. Then you go to 197. I think it's another pretty clear favorite. Stephen Buchanan over Luke Serber. Now, Serber is having a great year, ranked 5th in the country. Very good defensively, can wrestle tough from the top position. What a great year for Luke Serber. But Stephen Buchanan, he's been the class of 197. He's a clear front runner for the national title at 197 pounds. And he's going to be my pick here. Now, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's a one takedown match. And if this match goes on and on and on, goes late, and there's no takedowns, you can't rule out a counter score from Luke Serber to steal this match late. But Buchanan's been so good, so dependable every time out for the Hawks. He gets it done here at 197. Then you go to heavyweight where Wyatt Hendrickson, he's just been a bonus point machine taking on Ben Keeter. Ben Keeter coming off a win against Northwestern but got teched by Gable Steveson. And Wyatt is just a guy who's going to come out. And that first time you wrestle Wyatt Hendrickson can be overwhelming. And I think that's what we're going to see here. Wyatt's going to go after the bonus points the entire time, looking for the tech, looking for the pin. I'm not sure he gets the pin or the tech, but I think a major decision. I'll kind of hedge a little bit and say he gets the major. But you can't rule out 5 or 6 for Wyatt Hendrickson in this bout. And that's how it ends. So with that upset at 184, that would give it to the Iowa Hawkeyes. If they don't get that upset, I believe it will be Oklahoma State winning this dual meet at Carver Hawkeye Arena. But my official prediction, Iowa finds a way. Iowa gets it done at Carver Hawkeye and hands Oklahoma State their first loss on the year. But those are just my predictions. I want to hear yours. How do you see this duel going down on Sunday?